Shortly after Louder Than Liftoff launched a silverbullet a few years ago, I couldn't hide from internet forums or friends telling me they found the best analog device for a hybrid workflow. Well now, the instant classic that was the silverbullet has a little brother and sister, the Chroma Plus and Chroma 500s. Same topology, same mojo, a little bit of added color. Matty Amendola here on SonicScoop.com to talk about and record a song with Louder Than Liftoff. So, is this a preamp or a color box? Well, LTL calls the Chroma Plus a stereo/dual mono tracking and mixing channel, and I can attest to the fact that this unit excels on both fronts. As a mic pre, the Chroma was created with the same twin tone amp as the silverbullet, and with a button push, you have the choice of two distinct sounding mic pre's inspired by API and Neve consoles. On the mix front, use the Chroma as an insert to take advantage of these mojo styles like a 2-channel console perfect for subgroups or a mix bus. The Chroma line features switchable Bax high frequency and low frequency boost of sweet spot settings from the silverbullet with combinations of presence, air, and vintage filtering on top, or sub and bass on the bottom via onboard switches. If you're starting to think this sounds like a console signal flow, you'd be right, and that's where the Chroma line adds some bonus color, being able to host analog plugins for tube saturation and compression, as well as a long list of other color modules from third parties like DIYRE recording equipment. If you've ever used something like a color palette, you're familiar with how easy it is to swap around these miniature pieces of analog goodness. The Chroma line is no different, and includes a drive and mix knob to dial in as much color as you'd like. We've got 4 channels of Chroma, challenge accepted. We're rolling with a pair of Coles 4038s in Glenn John's configuration, paired with an RE20 in the kick, and one of my new favorite mics on snare, the Loudon Audio LS308. I have a small EQ dip on the kick, and I'm also setting the overheads to a room verb in Apollo's console for a little space. For this song, I wanted some crunchy indie rock drums. I want to overdrive the pre's and shape the sound going in as much as I could. We've got the overheads going to the Chroma Plus, which is configured with LTL's pentode color module for a little tube saturation and size. The kick and snare on the Chroma 500s are outfitted with LTL's implode color module, where I'm crushing the transients with 1176 style compression. So yeah, I'm really happy with those sounds. I knew the vibe I was going for. The Chromas really helped me get there. I'm not doing much on individual tracks with other processing. I'm using the LTL Chop Shop EQ for some filtering. But on the drum bus, I'm using kind of like a set it and forget it preset that I've used on the last few records I worked on. For bass, we're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm using the DI and the Chroma Plus and cascading one side into the other to create a mega mono channel, a standout feature on the Big Brother silverbullet. I'm also blending in a little of the cleaner first channel, where the onboard retro switch is doing exactly what we want it to do, shaving off some of the top and tightening the bottom. So a little bit more processing on the mix side when it comes to bass. And then I'm taking the bass, drums, and percussion out to what I call the A bus. I typically like to group those together and glue them together. And today to do that, I'm using the DIY recording equipment 15 IPs inside their color palette. The guitars are relatively straightforward. On the Fender, I've got a 57 and a Royer 101 going into the Chroma 500s. I've got a 421 and another Royer on the orange cab going into the Chroma Plus, out of phase on purpose to suck out a bunch of low end, and adding to that texture with some pentoed tube saturation. Not much on these. Some LTL chop shop again for filtering, a little bit of room reverb. I spread them out left and right. So I really dig the Neve Mojo setting on the mix bus. It just widens everything out and creates some more depth and smears everything in just such a nice musical way. If you twist my arm, the only negative thing I can say about the Chroma Plus and 500s are that there is no stereo link feature. This makes recalls a pain sometimes when you're using these things all the time, like I am, 'cause I love them. Big thanks to Brad at Louder Than Liftoff for being awesome, and thanks to you for hanging out. If you're looking for more info on these units, check out louderthanliftoff.com, or feel free to hit me up with any questions on Instagram at Matty Amendola. See you soon.